Okay, thank you all for being here. I'm happy to present this framework that I developed with my colleagues Paolo Mistrangelo from Smart Mover Startup and Algan Tetzel from the University of Aston. Our work is about property tokenization, digital framework for inclusive and sustainable asset markets development. We know that in Europe we have 70% of population that is owning their own house, and we have a remaining 30% living in rented houses. And we have different shares in the countries in Europe. We have the highest share of ownership in Romania, Slovakia, Croatia, and Hungary, with 96, more than 90%. But we know that this is the most common way to have a house in Europe. However, in Germany, we have a rental that is 50% for the population, and also Austria and Denmark have a more than 40% of this approach to the housing need. And also, we started in checking also the cost of the housing. In 2020, we have here the EU average, and we found higher values for Ireland, Denmark, Luxembourg, and lowest in Bulgaria and Poland. We can see that the prices are growing, and they have increased in all over the EU average in 16 member states, and it were stable in 3 and decreased in 8 countries. We have the largest increases in Ireland and Slovakia, and the decreases are in Greece and Cyprus. So our idea is try to change this dichotomy of owning a house or renting a house, trying to find a way that could be affordable for more people in our society. And so we conceptualize this idea of the property token that represents a fraction of the asset, defining a new property with a secondary owner. And we have the main owner that maintains the possibility to sell the entire asset if needed, and in time it can repay his fragment and be the only owner of the building. But we have also the secondary owner, or also multiple owners, that can capitalize a limited economic effort with a profitable investment. And this can be important as a social innovation to open to small and weak investors that can't afford in this moment the investment of the whole asset or have access to the normal real estate market. So we think also that this kind of approach can lead to a new business model, including aspects of sustainability, because we can understand that we have this stagnant situation of the market where we have an illiquidity created by the real estate assets and market condition. And we have this problem of the indivisibility of a property and its high market value, and the intrinsic rigidity of the market that can can not open the possibility for investment for a lot of people, and it is a challenging task. So we want to go ahead with this kind of situation that is freezing the asset markets, and it excludes the economically less privileged one, penalizing also the older owners that have not the financial resources for refurbish the buildings that are old and maybe they need to improve their environmental quality. So with the property tokenization, we want to introduce this groundbreaking financial instrument, digital and legally effective, allowing the partial transfer of the asset while maintaining the ownership and the exclusive use, generated as liquidity for investing in other possible activities that could be related to improve the energy quality of the building, so going in a sustainable direction, or investing in social activities for supporting a weak group of people in our society, so leading to a social innovation. And the property tokenization could lead to a financial revolution capable of generating important economic implication. So the idea is to have a comprehensive platform that will enable the storage and exchange of information between the digital tools and their systemic interaction. we started thinking about a GIS platform where we can define geometrically and geographically the asset in the digital environment. You can see here a part of my city, Milan, and the new development of Porta Nuova that is quite in the city center. And with the idea is to start with the geographical information system and then to use the BIM for checking the compliance of the building and the properties that want to be sold, and creating a digital land register that is immutable and accredited information chain. So we want also to associate this informational chain to a token. So we will have the BIM for defining the compliance definition through code checking procedure, because we know that now in the real estate market it's frequent to find properties for sale with significant nonconformities that are sold to unconscious clients. And moreover, during the notarization of the act of sale does not take place any control or assumption of responsibility of the selling party with respect to any nonconformities that can be found later, and it leads to a lot of problem in our country. So with this idea, we can have this digital fragment that will be associated to a token with a specific value defined in a smart contract as saved in a blockchain to pledge the validation legal contract between the involved parties. We are thinking about how to organize this kind of fragment. We can expand the idea considering a fractional or a time-bound on time share process. The fractional can be by percentage or even by architectural characteristics. For example, with different value, because we can have fragments with different tokens associated to the fragment with different values, or time-bound on time share ownership arrangement for new existing asset stock, which are difficult to operationalize. And on the right side, you can see invisible city of, it's a piece of art that is associated to the token related to the book of Italo Calvino about the invisible city, because we know that now this kind of devices is used also for this kind of activity on the art sector. So we started with checking the territory in our national contest of applicability. And we think that also we can work on different areas, increasing also the attractiveness of different areas that have a lower value and that can be define a new profitable investment. So we connected the digital map of the territory with the building status and real estate value databases to create a system to facilitate the informational backbone required to check the market value of the asset in different areas and define the property token values. Here you can see the same area that we have seen before of Porta Nuova, where we have a very high value for the new buildings. And we have the cost for the houses, offices, garages, and so, and all different possible uses. Then we are thinking about the structure and the modules that we will have in this platform. So a module of user master data for the creation of the data for the identification of participants and for the access to the blockchain with identifiers and documents related to the ownership of the property. A property master data module for defining the property master data with location, consistency, and parceling for subsequent segmentation. The digital enable module that is connecting the properties to the GIS platform and BIM definition for the proposed consistencies and segmentation with possible analytics and fragmentation scenarios related to the user's needs and the needs of the marketplace and the creation of the associated token. We will have an organization of the smart contract and the preparation for the notarization in the blockchain. Then we will have a unit product management module for the verification and archiving of the document checklist and checking the status of the file and creating statistical dashboard for analysis of the units, deed of sale of management, acceptance or cession of the units, generation of transfer details, and invoicing data generation, and also data serving for the transaction in the blockchain. As I mentioned, we wanted to also associate this concept to energy efficiency. So we are thinking about an energy retrofit module where we can check the quality that we have at the starting point and the possible measures that can be adopted to refurbish the building using a BIM-based interoperability process for creating building energy modeling. Then we will have a reporting section where we have the possibility to operate punctual extraction from different functionalities and compatible formats, and the data warehouse, where we have all the centralized data for checking the daily data in the platform, aggregation process, data verification and standardization, key performance indicator, monitoring or statistical analysis, and visualization of the properties in the territorial GIS tool for analytics on the involved urban area and territorial spread of the property tokenization. So to control all this kind of market with the same platform. So we will have advantages for different parties, for the owners that can gain access to funds and credit without selling all the assets, and they can sell only minor fragment, ensuring the ownership and full right of use. We can benefit the weak investors with new opportunities to improve their purchasing capacity and profitable investment for economic security. And private financial institutions that could be also advantages with the different and more effective form of assurance on loans that could benefit from a review of the mortgage institution, helping to solve the critical issues arising from the stock of not performing loans. Then we will have a beneficial impact on the environment for the common good, where the existing building stock will be renovated and reevaluated, reducing the anthropic pressure, and for society with the reinvestment of the gained liquidity also in activity for social support. Here you can see the map of the territory where we have the prices as you've seen before. Here we have also visualization of the level of the cost that we have for different uses, for offices, houses, and all the things that we have in this part. This is always the same part of Milan, just to use the same use case. And here it's an example of token for the partial disposal of the 20% of a property by a 60-year-old owner. And as you can see, we have, with an asset value of 300,000 euros, we can have an annual income rate of more than 9%. It is a very high return of investment. And it can allow the seller to increase the purchasing power and the buyer to invest with a high rate of return. This is a simulation for this kind of possible owner. And then we also checked with changing the age of the owner, how we can calculate the percentage of bare ownership value and usufruct value that you can see here. And the annual income rate is considerably high as investment. And we have the possibility to trade partially the bare property and its value change depending on the age of the owner. This can be increase the transparency of the activity, permit to survey the real estate market, ensuring the security of the investment over time and the opportunity to control and monitor in real time the changes in the market. As a conclusion, we outlined this initial concept of tokenization of assets supported by GIS and BIM technologies from an Italian perspective, connected to key sustainability goals in the built environment that can also support the municipalities that are trying to achieve the sustainable development goals, helping with the more private initiatives. And the tokenization of properties in a blockchain environment will facilitate the flexibility in asset ownership arrangement, enabling the creation of new business model to support communities financially, raise funds for building retrofit, and mitigate the existing housing challenges, and also improve the current inclusivity in the asset market. With rapid digitalization in built environment, we are thinking about expanding the tokenization on other elements that could be parks, roads, trees, or other buildings that are not only the property of the owner, for fundraising, for using this liquidity, as I mentioned, for environmental, economical, and social sustainability. Here you can see me and my colleagues, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you.